Hello everybody, my name is Ansem. Welcome back to Let's Play Hearts for the New Order as the Iberian. Let us continue on for last episode off. So, at the end of the last episode, we did finish our focus tree, so I'm not too sure when something new is going to show up. Cadillo debates bombed. You know what? That's one way to start something. That's one way to start a video. Get on a disaster has hit Iberia as an explosion has gone off in the Cornello. The bombing, believed to be targeting Franco, Salazar, and their close allies, narrowly avoided decapitating the Iberian government due to the Cadillos being delayed in declaring a lunch break. Several regional separatist groups have declared responsibility for the attack, which killed 34 people and wounded nearly 100. However, primary suspicions are directed at the Galician left-wing nationalist group with alleged German funding. The Galician barbarians. Of course, losing stability. Why would we not lose stability? I love losing stability. Who needs it? I don't. Cadillos announced reform program. Shaken by the attempts on their lives, the twin Cadillos announced for a new program to make Iberia slightly less dysfunctional. Although specific details are murky, rumors of the old proposal are the Iberian Council will replace the usual legislator that's going to be renewed. Okay, so we actually have a new focus tree, at least right away. Call an Iberian Council. So we want to go for... I believe we want to empower the council. Strengthen the illusion, representative name only. I think we want to empower the council. If we want to make Iberia more of a democratic nation, I think it makes sense that we'd want to take at least a little bit of power away from them. What can we actually even get here? You know what, 1960 military tech? Sure, why not? And I'm guessing we... My country's legislative how far too long. Amend the Iberian constitution. Limit the veto. Ensure system mutiny. Yeah, I think I want to empower the council. I think that seems like a good enough place for us to start. Summoning representatives from Madrid. The heinous terrorist attack at Algeria has led the Cadillos to reevaluate the needs of the Iberian state. Salazar and Franco have now decided to summon regional representatives to the capital to discuss the creation of an Iberian Council to help resolve the issues plaguing Iberia. To this end, a decision needs to be made. The proposed council can be given more legislative power, still under the guidance of the Cadillos, of course, or can act as nothing but a rubber stamp for Franco and Salazar. A decisive government or a strong legislator. We don't want to abandon you. Are you still 45% of the way done? I would imagine you're 57% of the way done. Let's go. We're making progress. Also, we can buy a ton of stuff. Oh, black arms. I mean, do I need guns? The answer is actually probably, seeing as there is, if you look here, one of the tags is not having a crisis in Algeria, and I feel like having a crisis in Algeria probably would not be great. Amend the constitution. You know what? Let's determine regional representation. I think that seems like an okay place for us to start. The Cadillos clarify the council's purpose. As representatives arrive in Madrid and file into the palace of the parliament, armed officers of the Guardia Civil block streets off in preparation for the beginning of the first Iberian Council. The Cadillos, as expected, are both present. Standing sternly in their uniforms, instead of entering the Chamber of Deputies, however, the representatives are escorted to a small conference room. It is there that the 30 representatives, dispatched by Iberia's smaller governments, shall be briefed. They are informed of their new duties through distribution of packets of paperwork hastily stamped with the compromised coat of arms of Iberia. Their duty, in a surprising move by the infinitely aloof and detached Cadillos, is to serve as a new, limited Iberian legislator. That answers to nobody but the Cadillos. While it remains unknown precisely what powers they will have, it appears that this will be a significant step towards removing the bureaucratic problems that cripple the nation. I mean, it seems like a decent place to start. Iberia announces the creation of the Iberian Council. Okay, good measure for sure. We got 23 days until you are ready to go. We still got our one spy that's kind of hanging on to Germany. Again, he does have a face, so that's a pretty good spy, I would say. Okay, the all-Russian government Amir has defeated the Free State of Magdan in a war. I believe you are... Yes, you are the National Socialist. Just... Right now you're fighting Shatita. I don't think anybody else is really doing too much at the moment. You're fighting against you. You're fighting each other. So we got nothing too crazy is happening. Komorvo's faded somebody else. And that is completely a-okay. We can add more money to the budget, which again, I think I want to do. Throw another 4 million in here. We want to build and finish all of this stuff. Yeah, so right now the workers are still very happy. We have $4.5 million in the bank. Gonna finish a radio tower. Adolf Hitler is dead. Yeah, October 17th. It's about the time when that would happen. So we're ready for a German civil war to break out any moment, and that can only be good for us as far as I'm aware. So he's probably going to die, but we do have free military factories. Is there anything we actually need? The answer is no, so by that I'm going to go with aircraft. Actually, we're not making any planes, so it actually makes sense that we probably want to at least make a handful of aircraft for the Iberian Union. Okay, got some representation, minority representation. The issue of regional representation. At the formation of the Iberian Council, it was decided that there should be representatives from the main constituent parts of Iberia, namely Spain and Portugal. However, there are concerns that allowing representatives from only these two regions would disenfranchise the smaller provinces. There are two options. Cadilos can ignore their cries for representation and only allow Spanish and Portuguese representatives. The other solution to this problem would be to accept a token representative from the smaller regions such as Catalonia or Galicia. This should hopefully help in calming down separatist resentment. Okay, so we'll increase the power of the reformists. I don't know if they're even listed in here, to be honest. Oh, there we go. They still got the Cadilos popularity. Right now, it's about 50-50, I believe, still. I mean, we haven't had any events actually go one way or the other. I believe Germany is now exploding, seeing as that's why the game is essentially just stopped. So who... Yeah, German Civil War. Not a major surprise. So who do we got? I'm pretty sure it's always the same people. We got Heydrich, Göring, Speer, and Bormann. And again, I don't know if he cares so much about who wins. I guess Speer would be the best for us, but okay, let's look up here. Right now, State of the Council, it is highly and strongly conservative. Bergen's declared war on the French. I don't think that war's going to last very long. Brittany's declared a war on the French as well. Bye-bye, France. It was nice knowing you. I don't think we want to downsize the administration of the Gibraltar Dam, though. Chaos in Ostland, which I believe is near Estonia, right? Yeah, you are now also slowly breaking apart. So there's wars everywhere, but that's not a big surprise. Conscience appears causes Moscow turmoil. Who are you? You are somebody who belongs to the Burgundian system. French refugees pour across the border. Okay. We received an urgent message from the mayor of Livava following Burgundy's invasion of France. Thousands of terrified French nationals have fled southwards so not to fall under Himmler's boots. The small Iberian enclave in Livia, with a population of only a few hundred, has now inaugurated with no fewer than 4,000 refugees. War officials of the state of Girona have opted to temporarily contain refugees in an enclave until receiving orders from to either admit them into Iberia or deny them entry. Smaller groups of migrants have appeared at other border towns, and even isolated cases of Frenchmen illegally crossing the treacherous Pyrenees Mountains to enter the country have been reported. Immigration to Iberia is virtually unheard of, and border customs are not in any shape to handle a sudden crisis of this magnitude. Salazar generally believes the Iberian government should work to guarantee the safety of the refugees, both due to moral concerns and in order to improve the international image of the Iberian government. However, he shares Franco's concerns that leftist extremists living in France might take advantage of the crisis and infiltrate the country. After all, tens of thousands of Spanish Republicans who fled the country after the Spanish Civil War were taking residence in France. Salazar proposes to organize a small military task force to bring refugees to Lisbon as quickly as possible. From there, they may opt for sea transportation to another country or opt to undergo a vetting process and obtain Iberian residency. Franco believes that this approach carries too many security risks, and instead proposes to only allow a limited number of refugees into Iberia to be held in internment camps until they can be thoroughly vetted and until travel to another country may be arranged. His plans also includes pressuring Andorra to accept any surplus refugees while new arrivals in Iberia are processed. I think we'll go for Celsius's plan. Apparently we do get a little bit more money, so we'll go with Celsius. Send him to Lisbon, ship him off somewhere else. Again, yeah, we do a little Andorra. Things kind of exist. I have no idea what happens if France actually defeats Burgundy. I'm pretty sure, like, it's essentially impossible. Hans Speidel has taken control of Germania. Basically, he's now in charge of the capital. I mean, I know France basically doesn't have any troops. Okay, so now a bunch of other stuff's happening. Expansion into Africa. But yeah, these countries are now taking more territory here. Poland has declared war on the general government, and HMMLR, who has a vast majority of the provinces, I would say, probably will end up winning the war there, I would expect. So let's go get some more military techs. We now have Burgundian troops on our borders. That's not terrifying at all. Look at the Warsaw Uprising. Opportunities arise in Algeria. Events on the European continent have taken quite a turn in the latest news. We have been given some solid reports that Burgundian tanks have rolled into France in what is sure to be a one-sided and very short war, where France's legitimacy in the hands of Algeria may have disappeared overnight. We all know they have bigger issues at hand at the moment, and then defend from advances. We have been handed a golden opportunity here. When this opportunity does not come around very often, and we would be foolhardy to pass up such an endeavor. Moves will have to be made and made fast before anyone else wises up to what's going on. Plans and meetings will be held sorted quickly so that we can jump on this before any other opportunist. One thing is certain, though, for the moment, all is right. Okay. One thing is certain for the moment, Jesus. Okay, take over Algeria. How long until this is done? Because if we click this button, this will stop all progress, so we're just going to wait a little bit longer. Yeah, so we now have a civil war going on in England. It looks like the HMLR England will probably end out coming out on top. I mean, they have a vast majority of the country, and it looks like the Kingdom of England is very, very scattered. Let's just put it that way. The thing is, like, it's basically, if they take London, that's essentially game over for them. Formation of the Africa Shield. People are going to war in Ostland. It is what it is. And Serbia is now in a civil war as well. So we got Serbian National Liberation Front against the Territory Military Commander in Serbia. Definitely go with the catcher name. Okay, Serbs have risen up. Unsurprisingly, France has lost their civil war. And other people are going to war as well. We got the Republic of Ukraine down here. Anything else really going on? Karl Donson sees Crimea. Apparently they, like, all have actual focus trees, even though they are, new countries that just kind of broke free. Like, what's even the point of having France at this point, right? Like, look at this. Like, you got like 4 provinces. Like, this is garbage. So we have a few more days till you're ready. More people are going to war. That's fine. Can we do anything else here? We can raise salaries, but you're already very happy. There's no reason to give them more money than we have to. So we're now at 6.5 million. We can build a hydroelectric plant. Now South Africa is going to be at war. Basically, this is the episode where everything goes to hell. The question is, do I give them $5 million? Norway is no longer a German puppet state. South Africa, of course, is now at war. So are you now just a... You're still fascist, but you're no longer a German puppet. And more than likely, the board's getting help from the rest of Germany here. The Black Brigade declared war on somebody. Finish our focus tree. And now we should be able to do stuff in Algeria. Oh, there's actually a ton of options that just became available to us. Germany in flames. Tension Algeria. The question is, like, what do we get done first? So we got the minority representation. Oh, we can't do this because we have a... Oh, because we have to do Algeria first. Okay, that's fine. Let's debrief Jardim. It's going to be done in 5 days. I mean, that's pretty fast. I don't know who Jardim is. Oh, no, Jardim is you, right? Yes. The Red Star United Army declared war on somebody else. Which I believe is, yeah, you guys up in the north. It really is just a disaster of a grandiose scale. Placating the separatist. One of the many issues plaguing the Iberian Union are separatists in the minority regions. Vast terrorists are sabotaging road construction, and Catalans are complaining about being neglected by the government. Even in Galicia, there are some who are considered abandoning what they see as a failing union. If nothing is done to quell separatist sentiments, the union will have to face even more problems. One option that is being considered is increased encouraging of the acceptance of Spanish identity in problematic regions. I think we leave some... Yeah, we'll get some more resentment. So it's probably going to slowly bring this needle up. So in 3 more days, we'll go to war with you. Everybody's now going to war with South Africa. Not a major surprise, I would say. And more people are going to war. Africa Shield to intervene in South Africa. So the United States might get involved, but I'm going to go and take a wild guess and say that they're not going to do a great job. The AI does not really have what it takes to actually help in South Africa. And now that the ANC has risen up, there's no way in hell that they can actually win. But you know what? At least they're trying. Not getting imports from South Africa. You know what? That's not a surprise. Do we need any imports? I guess we'll get some aluminum from the United States. And we'll get some chromium from Cuba. Those both seem decent. What do you want me to do? Is it adding more money? No, I don't want to build the dam first. I want to finish at least one of the other structures. And then, of course, do an emergency meeting. A letter to Jardim. Opportunity rarely has the courtesy to knock at an opportune time. For Jorge Jardim, opportunity interrupted a perfectly good breakfast. Were he a sensible man, he wouldn't have abandoned his poached egg and toasted bread for a letter apparently rushed to him from Madrid. But unfortunately for him, he was a politician, and such sense was not allowed in the procession. Bright eyes quickly scanned the letter, absorbing both the written word and the unwritten intent behind them all at once. He stood from the table as he reached the end, his mind already turning over the newfound information. According to this letter, the Shadow State is storming into the French rump state, and to no one's surprise, the French are receiving the worst of the fighting. The French have been more or less a non-factor for over a decade, unable to maintain control over much of the country outside of Algiers itself. That's why they were here to run, after all, and the Italians on the other side of the garrison. But this letter was much more vague with its actual orders. Unnecessary tactics to maintain plausible deniability should it somehow fall outside of Iberian hands and cause a scandal. That didn't matter, though. They wouldn't need to send him a letter without knowing what he'd do once he got done reading it, and already he was deep in thought. A spin. Iberia needed a spin to justify his acquisition of Algeria. Well, yeah, militarily occupied both themselves and the Italians, it was still legally French. And they weren't in a position to simply take the rest of the country by storm. After all, if they did that, they'd be fighting the Italians, not a scarecrow army of the French state. So what excuse could they come up to conjure to help prevent the Italians from intervening? He sat there deep in thought for some time, running through the scenarios in his head. It was clear that whatever scheme he was cooked up, they had to work with the Italians directly to achieve it. So, be it that they would play this by... So it would be that they would play this one by ear. He took a bite from his eggs, grimaced as he chewed. Opportunity had made his egg so cold. I mean, so I guess the French... Oh yeah, they actually do have Algiers. I didn't even notice that they actually had a little city here. Yeah, so again, we don't worry about that. Well, once you want to put more money into the budget, then I'll worry about it a little bit more. But for right now, it's not a huge concern. I don't know when we'll actually be able to throw more money there. Okay, what plan does make more sense for us to do? Arm the settlers, plausible deniability, air bridge to Iran, Declare war. Send an olive branch. I think we want to go for the war, honestly. But go for General Calisia's plan. I don't think going for a peaceful solution is going to make a lot of sense. Plans for Algeria. In a modern age, military glory is becoming increasingly rare and difficult to come by, even as militaries all around the world continue to ceaselessly grow. The advent of a nuclear bomb and the resulting global stalemate seem to all but halt the ambition of those who would make their mark in history through conquest. And likewise, when force of arms failed, great men of silver tongues and wild diplomacy would often step in up to the plate. But these are modern times. It seemed like every rock, every blade of grass, every grain of sand is owned by somebody, somewhere, and no one was interested in selling. The world was as small as it was ever going to be, and no one saw value in losing their corner of it. That's why when the Condilos called the greatest military diplomatic minds of Iberia together to discuss plans for the French colony of Algeria, they came not with the vague ideas and concepts, but with papers, with maps, with briefcases and books, words of schemes. This is an opportunity that they knew they'd never see again in their lifetimes. A chance to be known as the conqueror, through guns and through words of Algeria. Generals came with grand campaigns and elaborate war plans, and even going as far as to invade Tunis and Libya should the Italians stand in their way. Diplomats cracked on briefcases to reveal grand schemes and plans to buy and swindle the Italian half of Algeria out from beneath their feet. When the Caudillos made the call for all spheres of Iberia to form a plan together, they instead got a rapid and long succession of political sales pitches. I mean, why would he want to go for the... Look. Oh, no, you're both 70 days. I thought one was going to be 70 days and one was going to be like 5 days. Two plans remain. The moon was gazing down upon the military headquarters of Madrid when the Caudillos finally saw the light at the end of the tunnel. After discarding the obvious losers, they had, and then the less obvious losers, the Caudillos were left with two plans to decide between. Among the generals, Cadilla do Aringia's scheme had the most support. A limited war, but with the added benefit of looking towards the white French colonials in Algeria for support, and the creation of a cooperative government with them in the process. The Cadillos' plan, as it become called since it was first presented to the Cadillos, calls for open warfare against Algeria. Calls for open warfare in Algeria to simultaneously drive out the Italians and pacify the natives in all one fell swoop. The generals have relied behind the Cadillos' plan and already believed that Salzero would support them. Meanwhile, among the diplomats, Adriano Moria's plan has proven to be most attractive. Rather than approaching the Italian government directly, which would require a great deal of expense to acquire the Italian half of the region, he proposed that Iberia should instead approach the Italian oil giant ENI. If you can convince ENI to support the Iberian claim to Algeria in exchange for a generous deal of oil development in the region, ENI could turn much more intense pressure on Italy to accept the Iberian claim. The other diplomats and politicians have abandoned their own rejected plans to support Maria's plan and hope that Franco will support them in turn. No, I think they want to blow shit up. Captain Galivo speaks out against the Caudillos. This morning, shocking news reached the office of the Caudillos. Upon the front page of the national newspaper was a breaking column. Captain Galivo, a prominent naval officer who was with the command of a significant vessel of the Iberian fleet, has gone public with the national media to speak out against the Caudillos. In his media statement, the captain goes on a length to discuss what he perceives as a continual oppression from the Caudillos and all loss of freedoms among Iberia and the mismanagement of the armed forces. Due to the status of this high-ranking military officer and the power he holds, the nation has gone into a frenzy over this breaking news. One can scarcely appear in public without hearing talk of this breaking headline. Strict rules are placed upon all members of the Iberian military, forbidding them to give opinions on to the media without strict approval and guidance from public relations personnel or superior officers. Due to this, the testament of Captain Galivo gave the media could see him immediately tried for court-martialing, resulting in a dishonorable discharge. To commence such proceedings, we will need to speak to his direct superior officer. However, Captain Galivo needs to speak to his... No. However, Captain Galivo's statement appears to be rather popular at the moment, and immediately silencing him will be seen in public as a move to suppression, furthermore furthering the crisis. Letting the issue fester, however, could also be far from ideal. Let's just ignore it for now. But I think it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode, so thanks everybody for watching my Anthem. If you enjoyed, my thumbs up. Not doing, please thumbs down. Want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.